20 of the world's most amazing mosques. Mosque is the holy place for Muslims. It refers to its Arabic name, Masjid. A mosque is a place for worship for all the followers of Islam. Mosques all around the world are well known for the general importance to Muslims as well as for Islamic architecture and representation of Islamic culture. Although mosque is the place where all the Muslims of the community come together and have their prayers, mosque can also be the place of beautiful architecture that is famous all around the world. Here are 20 of the most amazing mosques in the world. Al-Haram Mosque, Mecca. Al-Nabawi Mosque, Medina, Saudi Arabia. Al-Aqsa Mosque, Jerusalem. Dome of the Rock Mosque, Jerusalem. The Blue Mosque, Istanbul. Shah Faisal Mosque, Islamabad. Hassan II Mosque, Casablanca. Suleiman I Mosque, Istanbul. Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, Abu Dhabi. Nusrat Jahan Mosque, Copenhagen. Zahir Mosque, Malaysia. Al-Malid Mosque, Damascus. The Great Mosque of Cordoba, Spain. Bursa Grand Mosque, Turkey. Murray Mosque, Australia. Golsarif Mosque, Russia. Crystal Mosque, Malaysia. The London Central Mosque, London. The Great Mosque of Lebanon, China. Pakhan Perdana Mosque, Malaysia. 1. Al-Haram Mosque, Mecca. The largest and oldest mosque in the world, as well as the holiest site in Islam. Muslims pray facing Mecca, but specifically they are facing this mosque, in particular the Kaaba, a cube building at the center of the site and the most sacred spot in Islam. In low light it could be mistaken for the TARDIS. During the Hajj, the annual pilgrimage to Mecca and one of the largest gatherings in the world, up to 2 million worshippers can be accommodated here. Anyone using the Gregorian calendar, which is pretty much everyone in the West, will have difficulty pinning the dates of this event down. Since it's held from the 8th to the 12th of Dhul-Hijjah, the 12th and final month of the Islamic lunar calendar, which is 11 days shorter than the Gregorian. Hence, so far as Gregorian calendars are concerned, the date changes from one year to the next. 2. Al-Nabawi Mosque, Medina, Saudi Arabia. The Prophet Muhammad used to live here, and also had the mosque built on the grounds, sharing in much of the construction himself. For these reasons, plus the fact that he's also buried under the green dome at the center of the mosque, the Dome of the Prophet, the Al-Nabawi Mosque is the second holiest site in Islam. 3. Al-Aqsa Mosque, Jerusalem. The third holiest site in Islam. Muslims believe that Muhammad was transported here from the Al-Haram Mosque in Mecca during the night journey, and then on to heaven. However, according to the new Garmin we just picked up from Best Buy, this is a journey of around 32 hours, and that is without traffic. There's always traffic. So there's no way Muhammad made the trip in one night, unless he went by another dimension, which is entirely possible. 4. Dome of the Rock Mosque, Jerusalem. We've put these two together, Dome of the Rock and Al-Aqsa, because there's often some confusion between them, to the point where they're sometimes considered one and the same. But they are two distinctly separate buildings that happen to be very close to each other. They're located in an area of Old Jerusalem called the Temple Mount. The dome covers a rock believed by some Muslims and scholars to be the spot from where Muhammad ascended to heaven. Others believe that place to be the Al-Aqsa Mosque. In Jewish tradition, the rock is understood to be where Abraham prepared to sacrifice his son. 5. The Blue Mosque, Istanbul. Its official name is the Sultan Ahmed Mosque, but it is known more popularly as the Blue Mosque because of the blue tiles that decorate the inside walls. There are some 20,000 or so of them, handmade ceramic tiles that decreased in quality over time due to the Sultan fixing the price in advance. and not taking inflation into account. In the upper levels of the interior, chandeliers have been added. Ostrich eggs are sometimes placed on the chandeliers in the belief that they repel spiders, and so help to minimize cobwebs. 6. Shah Faisal Mosque, Islamabad. An Islamic house of worship that looks like it might also double as a launch pad for space exploration, the Faisal Mosque is actually designed in the shape of a Bedouin's tent, and is the largest mosque in Pakistan. Completed in 1986, it is located at the most northern part of the city of Islamabad, at the foot of the Margalla Hills, the westernmost foothills of the Himalayas. 7. Hassan II Mosque, Casablanca. Opened in 1993, at the top is a laser pointing across the sea towards Mecca and extending some 20 miles. At almost 700 feet tall, the minaret makes this the tallest religious structure in the world. Or so we've heard. 8. Süleyman Mosque, Istanbul. One of the perks of being the longest reigning sultan in the Ottoman Empire is that you get to build mosques with your name on them. Suleiman the Magnificent, as he became known, must have skipped over the parts of the Quran that call for loving thy neighbor, as he spent the majority of the 44 years of his sultancy trying to wipe them off the map. He led the Ottoman expansion across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East, presided over the golden age of his empire's cultural development, and is buried here in the mosque that bears his name, the largest in Istanbul, and alongside his wife, Haram Sultan, who started out, incredibly, as a Christian called Roxlana, and later one of his harem. 9. Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque, Abu Dhabi. It's not every day you find out where the world's largest carpet is located. It's here, in one of the largest mosques in the world that can accommodate more than 40,000 people. Unique lighting on the outside walls projects clouds and gets lighter and darker in relation to the phases of the moons. Why? Because the Islamic calendar is the lunar calendar. 10. Nusrat Jahan Mosque, Copenhagen. Muslims comprise about 4% of the Danish population, and numbers are on the rise. Built in 1967, the Nusrat Jahan, located on the outskirts of Copenhagen, is Denmark's first mosque. This mosque is used by members of the Ahmadiyya faith, a branch of Islam, which perhaps accounts for why Denmark's first real mosque was reported to have opened only earlier this year. 11. Zahir Mosque, Malaysia. Built in 1912 in the city of Ulaanbaatar, capital of the Malaysian state, Kedah, the Zahir Mosque has been voted among the top 10 most beautiful mosques in the world. We just don't know by who. Apparently, Kedah has a Quran reading competition every year, which is held in the mosque. 12. Umayyad Mosque, Damascus. We've got the top 3 holiest sites in Islam, and some Muslims consider this to be the 4th. Legend tells us that the building contains the head of John the Baptist. Muslims also believe it to be the spot where Jesus will return at the end of days. Also, Muhammad's family walked here from Iraq following the Battle of Karbala, a distance of around 500 miles. We could go on. 13. The Great Mosque of Córdoba, Spain. Now pay attention, because this was originally a Christian church built by the Visigoths possibly somewhere around 400 AD, but then sometime in the Middle Ages it was made into an Islamic mosque, and then later, after the Reconquista, which is about 800 years of stuff happening in the Iberian Peninsula, something to do with the landmass known as Europe. It went back to being a church, so maybe it shouldn't even be on this list. We're not really sure. Anyway, it's too late now. Muslims are asking the Vatican if they can pray there again too, but the Pope, he says nope. 14. Bursa Grand Mosque, Turkey. The Bursa Mosque is built with 20 domes and has one of the finest examples of Islamic calligraphy anywhere in the world. It's like 500-year-old graffiti. It's everywhere, on the walls, the columns, on the floor, small plates, big plates. At the time, someone probably got into a lot of trouble for this. 15. Marine Mosque, Australia. Somehow, you tend not to connect Islam and barbecued lobster on the beach. It may come as a surprise then, or maybe not, to hear that the first mosque in Australia was built in Marine, South Australia, possibly as early as 1861. It has a certain Australian feel to it. 16. Kolsarif Mosque, Russia. Built in the 16th century, the Kolsarif Mosque was the largest mosque in Russia for about 20 minutes until it was destroyed by Ivan the Terrible during the storming of Kazan in the 16th century. In 1996 though, it was rebuilt. So take that, Mr. Terrible. It's mostly a museum, but during the big Muslim celebrations, thousands come. 17. Crystal Mosque, Malaysia. Built in 2008 out of steel, glass, and crystal, the Crystal Mosque is on the small side for Islamic houses of worship, and only holds around 1,500 people. By church standards, though, it's still pretty much a whopper. 18. The London Central Mosque, London. Located in Regent's Park and also going by the name Regent's Park Mosque, the spiritual centre for Muslims across the UK can hold over 5,000 worshippers and also has a bookshop and cafe. Its notably domed top looks like the lid off Paul Bunyan's turkey roast. 19. The Great Mosque of Lebanon, China. Founded in 742, it is the oldest and possibly best-known mosque in all of China. Unlike most of the mosques listed here, apart from that one in Australia, the Great Mosque is unique in that it is completely Chinese in its architecture and design. Although a popular tourist stop, it is still actively used as a place of worship by Chinese Muslims. 20. Pakan Perdana Mosque, Malaysia. Sure, you can say your prayers in this mosque, worship according to Islam, face Mecca and all that good stuff, but if you've also got your camera handy then you're in for a treat, because it looks to be floating on the water. Possibly it is floating on the water, and in the right light you get some terrific reflections. Yes, alright, it's true, we don't know a whole lot about this mosque, but you must admit, it's a great location. Thanks watching this video. For get more update video about on Islamic knowledge and historical data, please like, share and subscribe my channel IslamicLiFe24.